I want to go over two things in this video. First and foremost, what I'm going to do is, well, Happy New Year. We made it to 2021, a feat within itself, really. I would like to go over, there's, again, two parts of this. The first part is going to be something that occurred to me just earlier, actually, and I'm going to touch on that for a moment. Then I'm going to go into something that I don't believe I've really discussed with people before on here, that it's what led me down this road. Of course, I've brought up the psychedelics, but I've not really brought up the things and people that has influenced me and started me down. I'm just going to go into the exact steps of how I got started down this path, not even realizing what I was doing when I was doing it. But the thing that popped in my head in that video, reevaluating myself, which I would suggest you go watch, I said towards the end of that you need to listen. There's to pay attention and notice the difference in thinking when you are thinking, consciously thinking, and when you're not thinking and you hear your own voice. And it normally does it in a very low tone, like this right here. And some people may construe that as maybe schizophrenia or something of this nature, but it's not, because in my case, it is my voice, and it's not telling me to do anything crazy. It's not saying, like, go do horrible things or horrible things making me feel bad or anything. It's always positive, kind, and motivational, I guess you could say. So earlier, I woke up, and I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I am obsessed with trying to figure out every little detail about what's going on here. I can tell you what is going on, but I'm obsessed with figuring out the before, the after, and how, I guess you could say. And even though I have some of those down, I don't fully know it. So I was thinking about that again today because I am obsessed with it. And that voice in my head said, maybe you're not supposed to know it all right now. Just enjoy it. Maybe you're just supposed to enjoy it. And as soon as I heard that, it was like my whole body got this overwhelming feeling, and there were goosebumps all over my arms. So that is something that I am going to set out to do, is just enjoy it. Still work on being the best person that you can perceive to be, obviously, but when it comes to other things of that nature, I'm just going to enjoy it. When it comes, it'll come. But that was a pretty profound moment to me, anyway. So, going into what this video is mainly about, I have told the stories, obviously, about about psychedelics and how that kind of pushed me down this road, or pushed me off the cliff and said fucking swim or doggy paddle or some shit, which is, it's funny because I'm just going to get into how this originally even started. Now, psychedelics are a part of this, but it's not the whole story. The psychedelics didn't come into effect until after, really, except for one time. So it was in February, I believe it was January or February of 2019. Yeah, 2019. I had taken a pretty significant dose of mushrooms, and it was just, I've told this, but the rest of it, you'll understand how I've never told that and how funny it is. I took them, and it was like this voice in my head was like, you need to be a better person. You're taking advantage of people. You're manipulating people in a nice way. It wasn't being rude or harsh or judgmental. And then it was kind of like my spirit or my soul or whatever left my body, and I was having a counseling session with myself in my basement. And that was, I didn't know how to feel about it. It was just like, and from that moment, I was like, I need to start doing better. I need to be a better person, not do these things. And that didn't last long. Fast forward a few months later, and I had went back to my old ways, abusing cocaine and Xanaxes, and cheating on my wife, and being a semi-absent father when it came to important things. And I had taken a pretty ridiculous amount of cocaine and Xanaxes. And the reason I did this was because I went to this play that my daughter was in, my youngest daughter, and it was a Christian play about Jesus or God. I can't even really remember. But I had an anxiety attack in the middle of that and exited the theater, took my kids and my wife home, then proceeded to go out and get, it may not have been that night, it may have been the next day, but I proceeded to go out and get a pretty large quantity of cocaine and a pretty ridiculous amount of Xanaxes, and then you throw in alcohol on top of it and copious amounts of marijuana, and I went into a downward spiral. My wife left the house, and I was in misery. Well, I got fucked up out of my mind for about 3 days, just put it like that. And then the next day I woke up, I felt horrible, felt shitty. But then the next day after that, it was like something woke up in me. It was like something inside of me woke up. I had this ridiculous amount of energy. My mind was clear and on track, and it was like, this is what you have to do. Started getting up, working out, started eating better, vowed to never touch the stuff again, even though that didn't really last. But I never went back to doing it like that, just put it like that. Because I was the type of person, I would binge it. I would go months and months without touching any of this, and then I would get it and I would binge it for a weekend or a week or something. So I was working out one day and I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast, and the next podcast that came on after that was David Goggins. And let me just say, there's three people that I actually look up to. I don't put anybody on a pedestal, but when it comes to looking up to someone, Jesus, the Jesus character, the Buddha character, and David Goggins is someone that I look up to. If you can understand what I'm saying, there's a difference in looking up to someone and them inspiring you and motivating you as opposed to putting them on a pedestal. So David Goggins came on there, and it's just like something clicked with me. Like something inside me clicked with the man. And I started going on a David Goggins binge, and that helped me tremendously. It helped me tremendously. And then I was watching David Goggins one day, and Sadhguru, if you don't know who Sadhguru is, I never really got into the Sadhguru thing, but there was a couple videos he made that connected with me and clicked with me. So it was David Goggins, and I was watching Sadhguru, and then a video just randomly played. I'd never heard of this man before, never seen anything he had done, never seen anything he made, but Leo Gura from actualize.org. A video played, and it was kind of like some of the things that I had experienced and went through was stuff he was talking about. So I watched one video he made, and then not too long after that is when I went to the void and all this stuff started happening to me. So basically, I started off doing this just to be a better person, just to try to motivate myself and motivate other people, to try to figure out how to crack the human mind, because I realized that this thing up here, the human mind, not the mind, the human mind, was the thing that was holding people back and controlling their perception of reality. So all these things started fascinating me, which I was already fascinated about a lot of it before, but I mean, I got obsessed at this point. So my main goal and focus was to just motivate people and to try to get them to have a different mindset and to try to get them to be better people. And after I went to the void, I got through head first into spirituality. I had no clue. Let me explain this to you very, very, very thoroughly. and express it. Like, I cannot express this enough. I had no clue about spirituality. I took it as an insult because I thought it was something to do with religion. When people said that, oh, you're a spiritual, because for years people had been telling me that I was trying to have a spiritual awakening, or I was a spiritual, or I was an old soul, or all this stuff, and I took this as an insult. I did. Have no clue why, but at the time I was stuck in my own way, so I looked at it like that, like it was an insult. So, but needless to say, I had no clue what I was doing, and I went through the dark night, and still somewhat am going through it with had no idea, no clue what I was doing. I was a fool. I guess the old saying, you have to be to first be a master, you have to be a fool, or to become a master, you have to be a fool, or to become a teacher, you have to be a fool, or to become whatever the saying is very, 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 very correct. Because a lot of these things, I want you guys to understand, I come on here and I speak about other people doing, is stuff that I myself have done, and I'm trying to prevent you from falling into these same traps and situations. But in my experience, it helped me. So sometimes I'm conflicted about, should I steer them away from it, or should I let it progress naturally? Now, my biggest thing is that I've realized it doesn't matter what I say. It can influence you in a certain way, but if you don't, if your mindset is stuck on something and it's not ready to open up to other things, and it believes what it's currently going through, it's going to do it no matter what. So I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm conflicted about. Like, should I show exactly the traps, or should I just point them out, and then if they catch what I'm throwing at them, they will try to steer clear of it once they realize? Because you have to have that in your head. That has to click in your head, and you have to be like, oh, okay. So, but when I say that I had no clue what I was doing, I had no intentions of even doing this or going down this road, I can't stress that enough. Zero clue what I was doing. Had no intention of getting into this spirituality work or this anything other than just trying to motivate people and myself and change my mindset. Try to hack the human mind, which I'm still trying to accomplish and figure out. I feel like I'm getting one step closer. And I've also noticed whenever you think you can't take it anymore, and you're just finished with it, over it, and done with it, and you're in severe suffering and agony, is when a breakthrough happens. So I would like to be able to steer you through this with the least amount of suffering. And another thing I have realized is the majority of my suffering over the past however many years has been self-inflicted, of course. And I'm trying to prevent that for myself and for you. But so when I say New Age spirituality is a trap and nitpick it, it's because I fell into New Age spirituality. When I say that people start getting into Buddhism or Zen, and they just spout stuff off, parroting it, not knowing what they're really talking about or understand it, it's because I did it. When I say people go along with things they have no clue about or understand or even know the true meaning of, it's because I did it, and I'm trying to prevent you from doing this as well. It's just maybe you need to get in it a little bit to understand that, because, or maybe it's fine to skip steps. I don't know. I really don't know, and that's kind of been what I've been conflicted about. But I cannot, even though Sadhguru didn't play any really factor in anything, David Goggins and Leo Gura, even though if you go watch Leo, David Goggins is the most, I didn't think David Goggins was spiritual, but let me say this right here. David Goggins, if you believe in enlightenment and you believe in these things of this nature, David Goggins is the most enlightened, spiritual person possibly walking the face of the earth that does not talk about it or get into it or portray himself that way. So David Goggins is absolutely someone I would suggest checking out. I can't stress that enough. And Sadhguru, I've watched a few of his videos. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of the stuff he says and the way I don't like it when someone tries to be all, because what he's trying to do is something that a lot of people do that kind of understand this. They don't want to tell it to you because they don't want you to get that belief and thought in your head, so you go along with it. They try to point you towards it. And he does that. He talks in riddles sometimes, and I would just rather be upfront foremost with people and be truthful with them. Even though he's not being untruthful, he's dancing around things with riddles. And Leo Guru from actualize.org, I would recommend watching, but I need you to understand this. If you do watch him, be very cautious about some of the things he says and how much stock you give in them. That's all I'm saying. Leo Guru, I love the man to death. A couple of his videos helped me before I started fully grasping this and going my own way with it. But he's one of the main reasons I look at people and I look at things that I could avoid or do that they may just not come out and say about, but in certain behaviors and actions and things of this nature, the way they project things and the way they come across. And he was one of the main reasons that aside from the psychedelics pretty much telling me you've learned all you can learn, you need to learn, incorporate this, quit abusing it, because that happened. They will talk to you, by the way. He was a big reason that I slowed way down on the psychedelics, because the ego inflation on him is beyond comprehension. He still believes that he is that God. Even though I come on here and I say I'm God, you're God, we're God, it's a different God. He's on a different God spectrum and definition. Because again, when I say God, I mean it's all a mind. It's a singular mind of consciousness that is not only creating this, but is you and is everything and in everyone. That's why I say there's no other people. It's just consciousness. I am you talking to you. But he thinks he's God, like the dogmatic God, I believe. And he contradicts himself quite frequently. And I'm not talking negatively about Leo. I like Leo. But I think the man needs to I think he needs to stay away from psychedelics and reevaluate his perception and outlook and the way he comes across. Just like I'm reevaluating mine, but I'm not judging the man, and it's going to sound like I'm judging him. I'm just telling you what I'm observing, and I wish him nothing but the best, and I hope he can turn something around, because he's I don't know how to explain it without sounding like I'm judging, because I'm not. I wish the best for the man, and I love him, because a couple of his videos helped me until I started getting this on my own and going off experiences and stuff of this nature. So those are people that helped me at first down the road, and this is the story of how I originally got into this. I originally just got into this to motivate myself, be a better person, and lose a little bit of weight and eat better. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I just got into this for, I guess you could say, for vain reasons. To have a better body, to be a better person. That's not vain, but the body part is. and to motivate people. So you might as well say I was set out to be a motivational speaker, and it turned into this. No clue what I was doing. Zero intentions of going down this road. Zero clue of what I was really doing. But here we are. And I still got... There is no end to this, by the way, guys. There is no, well, you reach enlightenment or you understand things and this happens in your life and you're fulfilled and that's the end. There is no end. It's a continuous progression, a continuous evolution for eternity. So still got a ways to go, a long ways to go, and it never ends, my friends. But I do love you guys. It is the game of form and the play of life or eternity. And I am you talking to you. And so is everyone else. So please, let's realize this and change the system. This is heaven. Heaven is here, but it is covered up by hell. The overall is heaven. But once you go down within the layers of it, it's been masked by hell. So let's fix this. The only thing is the system. The system in play is corrupted and broken. And all it's going to take is a shift in consciousness or for people's eyes to open, and we can absolutely change this. So please realize these things. Don't believe me. Don't trust me. Just realize it, experience it, and then let's change it. Love you guys.